seen on the video, feel free to switch off your cameras. And I will briefly present you with the main goal and agenda of this webinar. So why are we here today? Well, the project name that we're coordinating is BUILD, and we're here to build upon the knowledge gained from peer-to-peer exchanges facilitated not only by BUILD project, but also other projects that are funded with us. Namely, I will mention the PROCEDIN. I will also mention initiative, well-known initiative, Urban Agenda Partnership on Innovative and Responsible Public Procurement, and also InnoBuyer. These 4 projects or initiatives will be presented today, not necessarily from the generic point of view, but we really try to bring some novelty to you that is stemming from the latest deliverables or reports that we recently submitted. So we're really excited to share this knowledge with you. So today's lined up, we are really honored that Mr. Vasilis Tsanidis from the European Innovation Council joined us, and he will deliver the keynote speech on the recent opportunity, which was published by the European Commission, and which I believe is pertinent and very interesting for majority of stakeholders who joined us today. Then our dear colleagues from Civita, Anna and Lucas will share with all of us the latest findings that were just recently took out of oven from the BUILD arena. And then we will be joined by Valentina Schippers, who's the coordinator of Urban Agenda Partnership. Today she's with us, but literally she's on the train, and we anticipated, of course, the probably poorer connection, and that's why we pre-recorded the speech. But she's here with us, and in case there are questions, she will be there to answer them, if not orally, for sure, through the chat box facility. And then the last but certainly not least speaker on the list is coordinator of InnoBuyer project, Jorge Gonzalez, who's also director of TIC Biomed. So with no further ado, it's my pleasure to give floor to Vasilis Tsanidis, Innovation Procurement Advisor at the European Innovation Council, and he will be introducing the EIC's efforts in innovation procurement and present the call, which is really interesting for majority of us, I believe, and we can now switch towards his presentation. So Vasilis, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Robert, and thanks the BUILD project that invited me to this very interesting workshop. Allow me first to share my presentation. So I don't know why I cannot share.
If you click on the arrow pointing to
I know, but for a certain region, I don't have access to my. Did you stop sharing yours? Because I think.
Yes, I stopped sharing. Let me do it one more time, because when we did the trial, it was working. Otherwise, I have it as a backup, and I can put it up if it helps.
Okay, because for a region, I cannot. Let me see. No, this is something else. Let me see. No, I cannot share my presentation for a reason. Let me try one more minute again, and then if I cannot, you upload it. I don't know. I mean, when you test everything before everything works perfectly. When you need the technology, is not there.
No worries. We are ready for this scenario, and I have it with me. So just give me a sign, and I'll share my screen with your presentation.
Okay, I think now I can share it. So everything okay? I will put it in a presentation mode. Yeah, everything okay?
Yes, perfect. Thank you. We see it clearly.
Okay, thank you very much again, Robert, and the Build project for inviting me to this workshop. Actually, before explaining the reason why I'm here, I would like to explain some funding opportunities through a call that we have published on to support innovation procurement. But before diving into the details of this CSA call, allow me to, for those that they don't know what European Innovation Council is, to share some information with you about European Innovation Council. So, European Innovation Council is the Europe's most ambitious innovative initiative. It's a flagship initiative of Horizon Europe. It has a budget of 10 billion euros, and actually it aims at supporting the scaling up and accelerate and support the acceleration of most innovative SMEs companies in SMEs and projects in Europe. We have over 3 billion euros is allocated to deep tech innovation in Europe, and we have developed partnerships with other stakeholders and initiatives like EIC, ERC, EIT, regions, cities, etc. Allow me also to explain a little bit the structure of the European Innovation Council. So it is structured around 3 different phases that are corresponding to the different, let's put it like that, different phases of the innovation life cycle. The first is Pathfinder, that it is addressed to consortia aiming at developing innovative solutions with lower TRLs from 1 to 4. So there we are supporting early stage research. Then there is the transition, the second phase. This transition is for consortia and single researchers and companies. There we are opting for higher TRL, more mature solutions from 3 TRLs from 3 to 6. So from proof of concept to validation. And accelerator is for individual companies. There we are targeting very high TRLs from 6 to 9, so very close to the market. So and in accelerator we offer blended finance, also grants up to 2.5 million and equity up to 15 million. So you have seen the structure of the EIC, but in the context of the EIC, there is a horizontal, horizontal services that we are offering to all these projects and to all these companies that are taking part in the EIC community. We call it EIC community, a community of more than 6,000 top-notch innovators across Europe that have received a grant in the past from SMEs instrument until 2020, and now a grant or equity from the EIC as of 2020. So the EIC is, as you see, it is addressed to Pathfinder Transition Accelerator. So for EIC, it is addressed to all projects that have received grants, also to Horizon Europe School of Excellence and Women Tech EU. These are also these stakeholders. These are also added to the number of the EIC awardees. And by the term EIC awardees, we also consider not only those that have received a grant or equity from EIC, but as said, a grant from the SMEs instrument in the past in the context of Horizon 2020. Now, the EIC bus services, the business acceleration services that, as said, are horizontal, are structured also around 3 different, categories. So we have access to advice, access to business partners, and access to innovation and ecosystem and peers. So what is this about? Here it is we have the business acceleration services help the EIC awardees in the definition that I gave earlier to connect to innovation ecosystem partners, to incubators, accelerators, innovation agencies, and so on. And then we are offering support to the EIC awardees to access business partners. So in this context, we are offering them support to be engaged with corporates, with investors, and here is the point that it is highlighted for this particular presentation, for procurers that are buying innovation. So innovation, we already know that public procurement accounts for more than 2 trillion euros at annual basis. So if on this figure we add also the budget that is spent through private procurement, you understand that buyers, procurers, are very important players in the exercise when we are talking about commercialization of innovative solutions. There is also, support to trade fairs, but these are not so important for the presentation that I have today. So, but how could we in the AIC help the beneficiaries to access procurement markets? That's why, because as I said, we consider the buyers are very important stakeholders for the commercialization of the innovative solutions. We have developed in the EIC our new Innovation Procurement Program. This program is structured around 4 different, let's say, key activities. The EIC Innovation Procurement Partnership, it is an ongoing program that it is actually facilitating the matchmaking between buyers, public and private, and EIC beneficiaries through pitching events, mainly through pitching events. This is a program that it is ongoing. We have the InnoBuyers program, but I won't say much about this program because Jorge will also present this particular activity from the EIC. Then we have another key activity, strategic use of innovation procurement. Keep this activity in mind. It will start as of September because it has a lot of actions that will be unfolded as of September in the context of this activity. And last but not least, the pilots on the services of public and private buyers. The reason I am here today in this workshop is this final activity that we have launched from the EIC. What is this activity? This activity is based on a CSA, a CSA call to support that we are aiming to offer support to EIC beneficiaries to test EIC innovations with public and private procurers. So what we are going to do in the framework of this CSA project, we are going to offer grants up to 60,000 to EIC awardees in the definition that I gave you earlier to carry out proof of concepts or pilot tests on the services of committed public or private buyers. So the idea is to find a consortium through the CSA that will help us give grants to these EIC awardees to do a proof of concept or pilot test on the services of public or private buyers. How are we going to achieve that? We in the call text, we are already foreseeing 2 types of calls that they have to take place in order to be able to find these EIC awardees. The first is that there is no predefined thematic area, and we have to launch a call, expression of interest to find the EIC awardee, but this EIC awardee has to apply in this call for expression of interest with a committed buyer, pre-identified buyer. So the awardee has to do his homework to find a buyer. Of course, we are there to help EIC awardees to find buyers in order to be able to apply together to this call for expression of interest. And then there is a second let's say type of call where we have defined challenges. So we have do our homework ourselves. We have teamed up with some buyers that they have set aside budget for innovation procurement, and we are launching a call on these predefined thematic areas for EIC awardees, facilitating the engagement between the buyers that will offer their services to do the POCs, the proof of concepts, or the pilot test with the EIC awardees. What is the budget of the CSA? The budget of this CSA is up to 3 million euros. At least 75% of the budget will go to the EIC awardees. The call is already opened on the you will find it on funding and tenders portal. I have the link later in my presentation, and you have time to prepare your call, to prepare your proposal. The deadline is the 7th of November. Here, although everything seemed to be clear in the previous slide, but I would like to highlight some information about the concept of the committed buyer as it derives from the call text. So, first of all, I would like to stress that buyers do not receive any financial contribution. But what do they get from this exercise? The fact that they will have they will de-risk their upcoming procurement in a cost-free manner, because actually the EIC awardee will bring his own budget to do the proof of concept or the pilot testing. So they will de-risk for free their upcoming procurement. That's why we need committed buyers. So it's important to involve in this exercise buyers that are have an intention to buy, not just people that saw this opportunity and wanted to be part of it. No, we want buyers that are committed to do a procurement, and we help them to do an innovation procurement. So we also we would like also to I would like also to highlight that the buyers are obliged to give some reference in regard to the innovation itself. That means that if for whatever reason the buyer, because we cannot, of course, we want to work with committed buyers, but for a certain reason the buyer won't proceed to the buying to the purchase of innovative solution, then we need this reference to be given to the EIC awardee that this innovation has been tested on the services of this buyer, so that he can use these references for other buyers that are active in the same domain, the same area as the buyer that offered its services for the proof of concept or the pilot test. And last but not least, we have synergies. We have to ensure synergies with networks, associations, with public and private buyers at European and national level. So we need to involve as many buyers as possible. And indicatively, the call mentions the Natural and Smart Cities Horizon Europe mission. I was there yesterday in that event. The cities in this mission are ready to work with us. So we have already an audience that is waiting for us to come with our offer to do the POCs, the proof of concept or the pilot tests on their services. And of course, it is highlighted that the project beneficiary has to ensure that at least 40% of the committed buyers are public buyer. So 40% of the public buyers that will offer their services are public buyers. This is the information about the call. It's already open on Funding and Tenders portal. This is the link, and this is the team that is working on the EIC Innovation Procurement program of the EIC. That's all from my part.
Thank you very much, Vasilis. Very clear. I really appreciate the fact that you started a little bit from broader perspective, introducing the EIC initiative as such, and then going and zooming into this very concrete and very interesting opportunity. There will be a Q&A session at the end. Maybe in the meantime, anyone who has a question, don't hesitate to type it in a chat box. Should you find it helpful, then we will pick it up and discuss. And now, so thank you very much, Vasilis. Now I would like to give floor to our colleagues from Build project, namely Anna Torts and Lucas de Bont from Civita. They will shed the light on their involvement and contributions to the world of innovation procurement, presenting the latest Build project developments, which are empowering cities for innovation. So Anna and Lucas, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Robert, and thanks for the previous presentation, which was really very informative. We would like to add a small piece to the discussion and to the context of innovation public procurement from the perspective of the Build project. But first of all, I would like to tell you who we are and what is our role in Build project, because it's not that obvious. As Robert mentioned at the very beginning, the Build project is addressed or it aims to build capacity among municipalities. We work with Tartu, with Turku, and with Rotterdam. So what is the consulting company doing there? Well, we are doing what we know the best, which is we ask questions, we learn, we facilitate workshop. In other words, we support municipalities, or we have been supporting municipalities in their journey to know more about innovation public procurement. And in that context, we've been facilitating body pairing sessions, which if you look for a tool that really is a powerful way to encourage to knowledge sharing, I would highly recommend. A lot has happened since last autumn, and we decided that this is the best time to share some findings about the content of our conversations, meetings, workshops. And to do that, to tell you more about it, I will invite Lucas, who will take over the presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Anna, for the nice introduction. The topics that we'll be discussing today will be these three in order. So incentives, challenges, and common procedures for innovation procurement. These topics, they have come to our attention in these body pairing sessions that Anna was talking about. Right now, we have formally written them up in a kind of short report, but before you see that report, it's always nice to just talk about it in this kind of presentation format. So the first one, incentives for innovation procurement. Often we know what innovation procurement entails, but sometimes we don't know why it's not happening. And one of the parts why it's not happening sometimes, it's because there is a lack of incentives or a little bonus that can overcome some of the challenges that we will be talking about next. Some of these incentives, they can be more obvious than others. So obviously the second point here, the financial grant, it's classic form of incentives. So as the third one, where it's kind of presentations that we're doing right now, this knowledge sharing. is very important. But the first one here that's mentioned, the centers of expertise, these ones really came out of our discussions as a really, really nice and important part of incentives. These are very centralized parts in each country that collect all of the information necessary for innovation procurement and all other types of procurement for that matter. And they can teach and they can facilitate and they can promote this innovation procurement. Other than that, these incentives also have different levels, right? So you can incentivize procurement on a local municipality level. You can do it on a national level as well as an international level. What we see here, the differences being is that these local ones are very more tactically focused on strategic goals, and they're very busy with scouting the correct procedures and providing incentives accordingly. With the national level, it's a lot more overarching, right? So there might be other goals that the countries might have, and innovation procurement might be a subset of that. Therefore, your actions of incentives are also different. Same goes for this international sphere, especially now also interesting in relationship to the previous presentation of the EIC. It is more of this level of incentive. We compared some different competence centers. So the one in the Netherlands is Piano, the one in Finland is Pino, and then also the one from Estonia, and that's where all of them, most of the information that we're presenting today comes from. Without further ado, let's talk a little bit about the challenges. Of course, it's not always easy. There's always some problems that are arising. One of the main ones that were identified, the first ones, was this time commitment. Because you're procuring innovation, you have to deal with a lot of new things that might not be that common. And that means that definitely for a public organization, this can be difficult. However, from our experience, at least, what we've seen here is that one step that's often skipped is to see whether or not you're actually dealing with innovation. Sometimes the solution is already readily available and can be procured with standard measures, but because it's new for the organization, the atmosphere is created that therefore the procurement processes need to be different as well. However, really, as a first step, when you engage in this project, really check if it can be done with normal procedures, standard procedures. They can save a lot of time. The other ones here have to do with high risk, high cost and high risks. These are kind of combined, but we separated them a little bit here because sometimes the solution is different. So with high cost, it's one of the solutions is this incentive of providing grants. But with high risk, we've identified a really more interesting solution from Finland, at least. This is something that they are trying to do, and they're trying to link the different municipalities together inside of Finland. So to spread out the risk of failure or any other negative consequences of that with dealing with innovation. And just like an insurance fund, basically you spread out the risk. It's always a little bit better. You pay more constantly, but never a very big amount. The other problem was an immature market. This is also a very interesting one, because sometimes what we hear here is that we want the solution, but the market is too immature to develop it. But here, actually, what it sometimes means is maybe you're not looking in the correct place. Maybe the solution does exist, or the people do exist that can solve it, but you just have to expand your reach in where you're searching and your reach in how you are promoting some of your procurement processes. So definitely one of the solutions here is to link a lot more between municipalities, also between countries, and participate in these EU networks that have a reach beyond maybe your country borders. And the other challenge is sometimes that they say that they have a lack of willingness or knowledge to participate in this innovation procurement processes. And here, of course, the one of the solutions that we've identified are these competence centers that we talked about before. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about these procedures. What are common procedures? What are maybe not so common procedures? We've split these two in EU-based procurement procedures and kind of local identified procedures that they often use themselves. EU-based procurement, they've identified three different ones. So you have the pre-commercial procurement, or PCP. Here, the goal is actually to procure in R&D stage. So the solution is not fully done. It's not commercially available yet. You are actually just looking or gathering a different group of companies that are working to provide a solution, but it's in research development. You promote the ones who are delivering great results, and maybe you drop those who are not in a kind of funnel stage process. Then you have the public procurement of innovation. This means that the R&D session is over. They have a concrete solution that you then can procure directly. And this innovation partnership, which is a combination of the two of them. However, here it is a little bit more complicated and sometimes risky for public procurement offices to engage in. But you get a selected group of people or companies, and you follow them from the beginning in R&D and promise them to purchase it in the end. So there's a lot more commitment. The solution is probably a lot more fitting to your needs. However, you are also on the other side of the coin, having some more risks and more time and things like this.
Lucas, sorry to interrupt you. If we can speed up and slowly wrap up to have a space for presentations.
I will wrap the last slide. I'll try to make it rhyming as well. No, but I'll try to talk a little bit faster. So some of the local identified solutions here, they are open procedure, reverse bidding, which is interesting. Here you just give the money award and they compete on quality. Negotiate prior to publication. This is when you're already in talks with a solution provider and then decide to open up the procurement. Then you have a competitive dialogue. Here you invite all the solution providers around the table and they can have an open discussion. Do keep in mind this is time intensive, and you have to be quite strict in what you want, because if you open this floodgate, they will try to get as much as they can. And of course, this dynamic purchasing, this is identified by them. However, they don't have that much experience with it yet. The dynamic purchasing here basically means that you open up this project and people can apply whenever they want, continuously. So this is my my wrap up. I hope if I talk briefly about something that you are interested in more, then please. Feel free to reach out to the Build project or to me directly, or to Anna, or to Robert, of course, and we can talk about it more.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Lucas and Anna. It was really insightful, and of course, we will be sharing these slides with all participants today. Plus, as mentioned in the beginning, for those of you who came later, we'll be uploading this video and sharing with outside world, so it will have its own life. Currently, we have around 30 participants, but the idea is to spread the word to the widest audience possible. Right, so thanks again. And the next presentation will be given by Valentina Schippers, who's the coordinator of Urban Agenda Partnership on Innovative and Responsible Public Procurement. She's also chair of the Eurocities Working Group on Public Procurement and expert on the public procurement itself. Valentina is currently on a train with limited access to internet. She is with us. She's following this webinar, but just to play safe, she pre-recorded her presentation, which will last for about 10 minutes. And if you have questions, she will be definitely able to answer your queries through the chat box facility. So, with no further ado, let's play Valentina's presentation. And one moment. All right, here it comes. Letty, can you see my screen or not yet? Not yet. Okay, it's coming. How about now? All right, so here we go.
Hello, my name is Valentina Schipper-Schapejko. I'm coordinator of the Urban Agenda Partnership on Innovative and Responsible Public Procurement and also chair of Eurocities Working Group of Public Procurement. I'm representing City of Haarlem, the Netherlands. This presentation is about innovation procurement and how it doesn't work in practice. So in this presentation, I will show you and share with you a few practical examples from the City of Haarlem. And I hope those examples can inspire you to replicate and to try it out in your own organization. This example is about this dismantling instead of demolishing. This example is about former local government building, office building of the City of Haarlem. The building dates from 1967, and even asbestos was found in it. And the company was selected for this dismantling, had a circular approach. So in order to use and reuse as much of possible of materials, the recycling container was lifted to the floor, to the real platform, and a lot of eligible useful parts of the building have been removed and reused again, such as windows and doors, kitchen, sanitary installations. And as I mentioned, because of asbestos, some parts were done with extra attention and very carefully. And this example is about sustainable road and water works. There are a lot of interesting examples, but what I really like and very replicable also for other organizations is a local hub for materials that can reduce transportation and carbon emission. And also really like the solution of one of the suppliers who developed an app, quite easy, in order to reuse each other's materials that normally would become a waste. So imagine one company would have a lot of sand as a waste and maybe some stones, and they put it on the smartphone app, and another supplier or subcontractor, they look at this app and they would need sand and stones, and instead of to buy new materials and transport them and so on, they can reduce these existing materials. And this example is that the City of Haarlem has a strong sustainable and circular solutions. So they ask market parties to come up with different solutions on how to reduce energy use of the business or company buildings. And one of the solutions that won this procurement need tender was actually quite simple. The companies in the industry area, there are quite a lot of buildings. They received energy scan and advice worth €375 for free. So City of Haarlem had the budget to stimulate sustainability, and from that budget they paid these scans. But as you see that the price is not per building is not really big. It's okay, but the outcome is quite essential because thanks to this energy scans and advices, the buildings industry area could substantially reduce their energy use with a very low-hanging fruit with adjustments, with very small adjustments, they could realize it already. And what we see is that through the energy scan, that the savings of or reduction of 20% of total energy use is really realistic. So it's also very, very easy to do, and at 20% of energy use of a building is quite a huge number and percentage. So in this example, I would like to tell you something about the use of ecosystems in the city of Haarlem. Because we would like to reduce and actually do not use the gas anymore. And in the neighborhoods, we would like to introduce innovative ways of heating system. And in this particular neighborhood, there was collaboration in the ecosystem with citizens, municipality, university developed, different market parties, and they developed innovative heating system. And we have very positive experience with the ecosystem, because you can solve and you can analyze the issue from different perspectives, and it helps it leads to innovative and very useful solutions. I also would like to tell you about innovative energy contract we introduced in the city of Haarlem. Due to war in Ukraine, the energy prices rose enormously, and we would like to find alternative and sustainable ways for energy. And in first place, we investigated if there are some possibilities, for example, to build new big solar parks or windmill parks, but it would cost €1 million and would cost also years to realize it. So we try to look at this issue from innovative perspective. So we also collaborated and asked the market parties to brainstorm about possibilities. And what we found out is that there is possibility to procure energy not as a product, but as a service. And it's an interesting and innovative approach. So how does it work? The innovative local energy contract, for example, the companies with the big roofs who have a lot of solar panels on it, or for example, even citizens of the city of Haarlem who produce through the warm pumping heating system, or through a lot of solar panels, more energy than they would need for their household or companies for their buildings, for their industries. They could deliver this extra energy to sell it for the good and fair price, to connect to the local energy sustainable local energy market. And from the other side, there are different places where energy is needed, sustainable energy. And as I said, we procured the energy contract as a service and not as a product. So it means we have a company who, through the algorithms, assume that they receive energy, sustainable energy from citizens or companies of the city of Haarlem, and through the algorithm they redirect this energy to places where energy is needed. And it works really amazing, because the people, there is a win-win situation. The citizens and companies receive a good price for their extra energy, so they're motivated even to invest for more energy producing sustainable possibilities. And from the other hand, the places where energy is needed receive sustainable energy. And it's also that to procure energy as a contract, it's also much cheaper. As I said in the beginning, if you would procure energy as a product, it would cost millions to invest, for example, in a windmill park, which is of course a good solution on more longer term. For the short term, it's not a very expensive solution. But if you do it as a service, so for example, in the city of Haarlem, it was only €50,000, and compared to millions you would spend by buying a product, it's a huge difference. So it's really amazing solution for many of public authorities, I think. I also would like to pay attention to free-to-use e-learning module and the online course, those both training materials are free of charge. So I will also share it with you in the chat. And also, if you receive this PowerPoint presentation, please feel free to use these materials for yourself or to share it with your colleagues. The left side, there are 7 modules, such as measuring impact of spend, circular procurement, innovation procurement broker, legal framework of innovation. Very interesting topics to learn more about it in this interactive e-learning module. We are also collaborating in this with a PROCEDIN project, EU-funded PROCEDIN project. If you would like to learn more, I would also share it in the chat. And on the right side, this is an e-learning course we made together with Urbex, and it's built with a different video training materials. I'm also one of the trainers, so if you're interested, also please feel free to use it and to share it in your network. You do not even need to register for it, just very easy and accessible to use. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any question, you can put it in the chat. You can also contact me. You see my contact details here. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Valentina. It was a presentation full of inspiring best practices. Congratulations to you, to your team, to the city of Haarlem. You're doing a great job in this arena, and you're definitely among the pioneers in this sector. Also, I would like to invite our participants to check out the resources, which are really, I would say, almost beyond the state of the art. They are super fresh and intuitive to use. So I would really like to encourage you to check also those resources which were presented towards the end of the presentation. So thank you. And the last speaker today is the coordinator of the InnoBuyer project, Jorge Gonzalez. He's the CEO and the founder of the TIC Biomed, a non-for-profit association located in Spain. He will be sharing with us strategies on making innovation more impactful, especially in the health sector. Thank you, Jorge. Whenever you're ready, feel free to start.
Thank you very much. I wish I were the coordinator of InnoBuyer, but I'm only one of the members. The coordinator is FCSS. We also are part with Civita. Don't worry. It was just for taking things straight. So I'm going to talk today about what happens when innovation pilots are not adopted. Okay, why is this such a pain and such a waste? As you say, I'm the director of TIC Biomed. We work in open innovation and other type of projects. We are very focused on health, but the topic here, I think, it's much wider to all different areas. So we believe we have been participating in a lot of projects, and what we see is that most of the projects, innovation projects, they are successful, meaning that they deliver what they were trying to achieve with the innovation, solving the problem. But what we see is that in spite of being successful, and especially in this organization that they ask for the innovation, that they put the challenge on the table, then after the co-creation, nothing happens, okay? They do not get adopted, meaning that they have no impact, okay? And why is this a problem? What is such a waste? It's not only because we are wasting public money. It's not only that there is an opportunity cost for the organization because they are involving resources that could be spent in other areas, okay, in other projects. I'm talking about the challenger organization, the potential customer organization, but also for the solver, as we call it, the company that is delivering the solution, okay? And usually these companies, usually small and medium enterprises, they don't get funded at 100%, meaning that they don't receive all the costs that they are putting, and there is also an opportunity cost, and especially because when they are co-creating with a potential challenger, with a potential customer, if they don't get that challenger as the first customer, they will never generate trust into the market. So to be able to sell it somewhere else, it will be very difficult. If you do something for me and I don't buy it, who else is going to buy it? Nobody's going to trust you. But perhaps even more important is the last one, is that you are involving personnel in the challenger organization, the potential customer organization, usually professionals, the staff, and they are putting their time and their effort usually after work, okay, taking time from leisure, from family, from sport, from sleep, and then nothing happens. They know that there's a solution and nothing happens. So you build the culture for innovation within that organization, which is really the drama. Okay, so what we say is that it is not only necessary innovation. We need to meta-innovate. That means innovate in how we do innovation, right? So what we claim is that we know how to do innovation, okay? We know how to identify challenges, find partners, write proposals, submit deliverables, promise exploitation. And then on the other side, in the customer, in the challenger, as we call it, they are buying, procuring all the time. They are buying for their organization, from pencils to very sophisticated software. They are buying them. But what we don't know is how to move from a TRL 7, okay, which usually, I guess you all are familiar with TRL, which is a maturity index for solutions, how to move to 7 to 9, where it's in a state that they can be commercialized. And even sometimes, for example, in healthcare, it's not enough that it's a TRL 9. If it is a medical device, it needs to be certified. So how do we move from a TRL 9 to a certification? Because no public instrument of support of innovation pays for that. Or the current instruments that we have for procurement of innovation, they sometimes they have a lot of overhead. Okay, so these are the pains that we have when managing innovation. So these are the problems. No? So what are you guys doing in Innovaya, for example, to provide solutions? Okay, this Innovaya was mentioned before by Vasilis. Is a project supported by EIC. We have also Chivita in the partnership, and basically, Innovaya, among other things, is trying to promote innovation procurement. Most of you will be familiar with this type of instruments, also promoted by the European Commission, national and regional agencies, pre-commercial procurement, public procurement innovation, which are basically an option and a model for doing demand-driven co-creation. But as you may know, it takes a lot of time, a lot of overhead, a lot of money to deliver using this approach. Now, what we are doing in Innovaya is to take the same philosophy, basically demand-driven co-creation. We start with identification of a challenge. We match-make that challenge with an SME, a small and medium enterprise that can provide a solution. Only one. This is one of the biggest difference. Only one challenge. This is because we are identifying challenges that are, say, digital, that they can be solved, say, 9 to 10, 12 months, and co-creation can take a smaller amount of money to deliver a solution. One of the innovations of Innovaya versus other approaches, for example, we have participated in other projects like In Demand, is that we are also delivering legal expertise, because the goal is to have a procurement at the end of the day. As I was telling before, most of the co-creations are successful. A solution is found, but then surprisingly, because the challenger was the first one say, I have this problem, I want you to help me to solve it. Then the very same organization that put the challenge on the table didn't acquire it, in spite of being successful. So one of the meta-innovation things that we are doing in Innovaya, for example, is to ask for a commitment letter to the public organization signed by top management, stating, you have to say that if everything goes well, you commit to acquire. As you can understand, this is a very hard requirement. We got much less proposals by asking for this requirement, for this commitment, haven't not asked for. Okay, but we want that if you say you want something, you are coherent and then you adopt it. Okay. Now we know that this can be necessary, but it's not enough. So we believe that during co-creation, the different departments with the procurement organization need to be aligned. And so not only the innovation unit, the one that is managing the innovation, is engaged in the process of co-creation. Top management, IT, in the case of that digital, procurement, legal, clinical, in the case of healthcare. All those need to be aligned during co-creation, not after co-creation. So that if it's success, this gap between innovation and procurement, this valley of death can be successful, overcome as soon as possible and with the most chances of success. Okay, so this is how we are trying to meta-innovate here. Another thing that we are doing, we want to, that with the ecosystem talks more about this. Why are not we talking about this? Why we just assume that the game of innovation is to create fantastic solutions with very little impact because it's not adopted. So we have this conference, Murcia, where we are located in Spain. It's going to be the place where we are going to meet in November to talk specifically about this. How can we make successful innovation more impactful, starting by the adoption? Then it will be scaling, there will be other things. But if we never adopt, if we never procure, it will never be impactful. So we are also part of a project that is Procure for Health, where we have all these people that are also thinking that this is a good idea. Hopefully you also think so and you can join us. And if you do so, you can put in contact with me. I think I'm already in time. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thanks a lot, Jorge. Very insightful, and I learned many new things. So thanks for that. It's appreciated. It's 1 o'clock, which means that we promised you to keep a 1 hour blog. We were a little bit too ambitious with 4 speakers lined up, but there are a lot of, I think, dense and to the point insights that were carried today. Perhaps I will just look very quickly through the chat box and the questions that were received. In the meantime, there is one from Jorge, and it's a question from Vasileos. Vasileos, are you still with us? I see you. Yes. If you have maybe 5 more minutes. So the question is, when you talk with potential interested buyers, what do you think, do they tell you is the biggest barrier to get involved in the innovation procurement?
Actually, from the presentation of Jorge, he has also interaction with buyers, so he has an opinion of his own, I guess. But in any case, just to reply to this question, there is not one size fits all reply to this question. So not all buyers has faced the same problems in regard to innovation procurement. For some buyers, innovation procurement has been mainstream. Some others, they are struggling, and some others, they don't even care, or they don't know about they don't know even the concept of innovation procurement. So it is if I could say, if I could name some barriers, but not hierarchically, or meaning that all these barriers apply to all procurers, as explained earlier. Barriers first with political will. It's very important. I mean, in an organization, to have politicians, to have heads of the organizations that are looking procurement as a strategical tool to tackle challenges that this organization is facing. Some other buyers are facing budgetary problems. They don't have budget, or even they don't have the capacity of the to perform more complex procurements that instead of buying normal procedures. Some others they don't have even the staff, the resources to do innovation procurements. So there is a whole spectrum of replies in this question. I would highlight one. What is important is capacity. I mean, it's very important. That's why there are a lot of initiatives from the European Commission, even from the European Innovation Council, that are helping the enhancement of the capacity of buyers to do more. And I repeat, I highlight, I stress that better, because it's not necessary to do more, but also to do better innovation procurement. So I think that capacity building is very, very, very important. But not, other procurers have the capacity, they don't have the budget, something like that. But yeah, this could be a reply to Jorge.
Thank you very much. And there is one more coming from Martin. So 2 questions for the build project presentation. So I'm looking at Lucas and Anna, but also I can take part of it should it be needed. First one, I'm interested in hearing your insights on building capabilities for municipalities to implement more innovative approaches on their own. So did you find any particular capability sets or prioritize them to overcome the challenges that you mentioned? As the first one, and maybe I can take the second one later.
Well, I'm not sure if I understood fully the question, but what we found as a good practice in terms of municipalities that are doing things a bit differently than others is the example of Rotterdam, where there are 2 departments involved or engaged in the public procurement. One is the legal one, the public procurement department that is dealing with the procedural aspect of the whole thing, and the other one is the innovation department that is basically scouting for challenges, or what we call in Innobuyer unmet needs within the city, within the municipality, and is suggesting those challenges to the public procurement department, adding that it's something that can be done with the innovation public procurement procedures. Lucas, you did so. Mm-hmm.
I would also quickly add here is that in the case of Rotterdam, especially, what we see is helpful is to create a bit of distance, right? So what Anna just explained was they have one department dealing with this, the other department dealing with that. It allows for a different mindset, for different procedures, and for more experimentation, which is then backed by the overall organization. This is really, really important, because we can always, everybody has experience with dealing with this, and sometimes it's a little bit inflexible. And by creating some distance, it allows for this breathing room.
And yeah, presenting 2 perspectives or having 2 perspectives in one process is something that we found pretty interesting, and based on case studies Rotterdam was presenting, also pretty successful.
Thank you, Anna and Lucas. And I think the last question is also addressed to Build, but I take it also to PROCEDIN, which is the sister project. And I see also Luis Knight being here with us. Hello and welcome, who is the coordinator of PROCEDIN. So what were the main capability building practices which you or your project implemented and found more effective? So speaking on behalf of Build, the majority of capacity building activities are still yet to come. We have series of trainings, international, national level. We are also going to organize staff exchanges within and among municipalities from different countries, learning really on site from the other. And also we have something experimental that we call simulation exercises or trainings, which will be still trainings or capacity building sessions, but the objective is to really push procurers to go as much as possible towards the real life cases, and at the end of the day, hopefully, the main output would be the tender, innovating tender itself. Maybe Luis, would you like to complement anything on behalf of PROCEDIN? I know, or also Valentina, there are exciting trainings coming up as well. Luis, you are muted, I think, or we don't hear you at least. Let's see. No, I see you're talking, but we don't hear you. Anyways, because since Pedal is also a partner in PROCEDIN project, I can just say that we have an exciting series of trainings coming up as well. The more details will be shared with you, certainly with all participants who attended today. And this goes alongside with all the presentations. As mentioned, this webinar is recorded and it will be made available to you, to your colleagues and partners from your network. So with this, we made it a little bit longer than initially foreseen, but I hope you will forgive us. I would like to thank all participants, all our dear speakers, partners, stakeholders.